Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM video session 225. So we will just continue on the date part, what we have been covering till now. So let me open the notepad. So we did for last 180 days. We will do for the next one, okay? Like next 60 days, something like that. And also we will do something related to absolute and relative today. So let me go to Analytics Studio. We'll operate with the same data set. Filter here, I will go for created date. And I will go for maybe I can go for something like, I don't know, next week. Okay, I think we already did next week. Maybe let's go for next 180 days, okay? Something like that, because last time we did for last 180 days. Now we will go for next 180 days, okay? So it will be of next 180 days, okay? Instead of next 180 days, let's make it as next 90 days. Sorry, next 90 days, that is fine. Let's quickly check the code, how it's written. So filter queue by date, and we have to write 90 days ahead, okay? That's it. So we have to write 90 days ahead. So now let's try to do it. I will write the filter at last. So let me write the group and everything. Group queue by all. Is equal to, for each queue generate count of queue as a queue equal to limit queue 2000 and queue equal to filter queue by day. Sorry, this will be a date, I guess. Yeah. Created underscore filter underscore month underscore day in. I'll be writing so days 90 days ahead, and here it current day, okay? Okay, so I'm loading that. So I'm filtering queue by date in current day to 90 days ahead. I'm grouping by all for each to generate this and the limit fine. So I think these are all correct. Okay, I didn't put a semicolon. Fine. I think everything seems fine. So now let me just check it out over here. Okay, I will directly go to query mode. So as you can see, this is working perfectly fine. I think the code is also written exactly that way. Okay, this makes sense. So yeah, that is about this one. Now let's try a few more things related to date. So here, let's say I go for now custom. Okay. So under custom, you have something called as absolute. Now under absolute, you have all these options. Is null, is not null. Okay. So we can go for all of these options where let's say if I'm going for, let's say I'm going for between as of now. Okay. So I'm mentioning one range. Let's say I mentioned 2025. Okay, unfortunately, you don't have. Okay, fine. Let me take something from here. Let's say I mentioned, let it be this date itself. Okay. So let it be this date only. Let's say 19, and I'm mentioning 24. Okay. So let me first write this condition. Filter for created date between, and let me write the date 19/8/2024, 10/4/2025. Okay. I'll write this recipe over here. I'll hide the above. So this is about absolute, where you get to mention the range between. You can go for greater than is null. Okay, all these operators are here. Less than is null is not null. So this is like absolute. You can mention that exact range period. Okay, if you want greater than this date, lesser than this date, or between this range. So in that way, we can always check out. Now let's say I go for update. So now I'm going to check like how this SQL looks like. Okay. So here, as you can see, main thing is to check this one because everything else will remain same. Now, here is one important thing to note. We already learned about this function date, right? So we have to learn now about what is this date range about. Okay, so there's this different function we see, which is the date range. So that is interesting. Now I will write. So let's understand this date range. So we can take the help of Gemini, of course, 100%. But let's go for the document. Okay, directly let's go to the Salesforce document itself, where we can also like have further understanding of what this is about, a date range. Okay, so here, as you can see, use date range to specify a fixed range of dates in a filter. So through this date range, like this is the complete syntax if you see. Okay, so is an array that specifies the start date. So basically this complete thing is in a YMD format, where it specifies, like for example, okay, if you see, this is the year, month, and day, I guess. Yeah, year, month, and day. Okay, so that's the way it's mentioned, year, month, and day. And basically that specifies the start date completely, and then you specify the end date. Okay, so for example, returns all records. So here we have written date, and it basically between this and this range. So that's why the date range is 24. October is 10 comma 2. Okay, in square bracket you write it, and that's how this is done. Okay, so yeah, that's the way. And yeah, here of course you can also have relative date range, but this is the fixed date range basically. So all these things falls under fixed date range, and date range to specify a fixed range of dates in a filter. So when we use date range to specify a fixed range of dates in a filter, so that's something important to write. Date ranges to specify a fixed range of dates in a filter. So that is something I have to take a note down as well over here. Okay. So yeah, with that, now let's come again once over here. I think nothing else over here. That is fine. So as you can see, main thing is we have to understand how the syntax is written. So you have this square bracket and you write this function date range. You open the circular braces and you just put in an array format. As you can see, the year, month, and the day. It's the format which is followed. Okay, that's it. It can be tough. Let's see. Okay. So anyways, let's see how to do it. So see, everything else is fine. Load queue. I will So Q equal to, I will write the condition straight away, and let me write rest of the statements. Q by all, and Q equal to, for each Q generate uh, count of USA. Okay, and Q equal to limit Q 2000, and here I can write the filter Q equal to filter Q by date, and here I will mention. Now here comes the interesting part. So I will write date range. Okay, this function which we understood. So it is capital R, date range, and here I will give it in. I will open the bracket, and here once again I will open the bracket, comma, once again the square bracket. Okay, and finally we have to end with the square bracket itself, and here I will give that particular range in years. So I have 2024, comma, year is August, so it is 08, that is fine, comma, the date is 19th. Okay, and here I will give that range 2025, comma, 04, comma, 10. Okay, so I think that's done. That is about the fixed relative date. So q equal to load this one, then q equal to filter q by date in this particular range. Okay, and q equal to group q by all, q equal to for each q generate count of q as a, and q equal to limit 2000. So straight away let's jump to a SQL mode, the query mode, and straight away let's paste it over here. Okay, that's cool. So basically, as you can see, I think it's completely matching. So yeah, the date in date range. Now, of course, after that you can compare step by step. In date range, you have given that in bracket. Yeah, this seems fine to me. Okay. Yeah, I have written 08, but that is not a big deal. Okay, but yeah, everything else is fine. So this one is also proper. That is great, and we can try a few more things. So let's say I write something like is not null, for example. Okay, let me close this. So created it is not null. Okay, so how to get that particular thing? For created it is not null. Of course, created it is always there. Maybe we can take something else like an opportunity also closed it is always there, but yeah, this is just for practice. Okay, nothing else. So as you can see, it's written is not null, nothing much. So we can skip this portion. Nothing to write. We already did this part earlier for dimensions. Let's go for something else. Let's say go for greater than or equal to yeah, I think let's go for this date itself. Okay, greater than or equal to this one. Fine. So here, basically, as I mentioned, that it is greater than or equal to this one. So we will write greater than 18/8, 2024. Okay, so it is 18/8, 2024. Similarly, there is a, I think, other than like there is nothing else other than this. Then we can understand for relative. Okay, so what I will do is I will write this in the next class, the SQL query. But at least let's check the query. Okay, how it's written. So as you can see here, it's date, fine, and again you give the date range. Now, interestingly over here, you give the date range as 119999, okay, something like that. So basically, it's a future date which is randomly given. Okay, so you give the date range you mentioned from that date when you want the data, and it is greater than you just randomly mention 9999, comma 1, comma 1. Okay, this is just a random year which is mentioned, which suggests the future date. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. You have to mention the year 9999, comma 1, comma 1. Okay. So that way it will give you the range, or you can just mention like whatever is today's date, you can mention the date just beyond that. Okay, in that way we can just write this particular code. So this is something we will do in the next session. I will write that code and we will check out. Fine, and also we will check out like what are the other filters we have in relative part. So for example, in created date, when you go to custom, we have many things from relative. Okay, from the start up to then, we will also check that part. So yeah, that is all about this one, and let's meet very soon in our next video. Thank you.